So this is about how AI speeds up content creation. Now, every creator knows we've all experienced just staring at the screen and thinking, okay, well, what am I going to talk about? Or just staring at a blank PC screen and thinking about, okay, what am I going to write about? Or what video am I going to create on this particular topic? If it's on LinkedIn, if it's on YouTube, Instagram's a little bit easier because you can show your daily life, but that's also storytelling too. So we all go through this, and then we figure out, okay, what am I going to talk about? Now, typically, what works for me is I'll read some of the news that's going on. So actually, what I have is I had ChatGPT set up where I gather all the information on like what's trending this week on AI. All it all comes into me once, and I just pick a particular subject that I want to talk about. I'll read through the news, and then I'll send it over to ChatGPT to say, hey, these are the bullet points that I want to talk about, and it'll write me something for me. And then after that, I take that and I'll create an entire story with it. How about you guys? How do you guys use AI right now? Or have you ever run into a problem like that where you don't know what to write about or what video to create? Have you guys experienced like anything like that? Let's see. Just checking the chats, see if anybody else has experienced anything like that. Okay, no Q&A. Okay, well, I always go through it all the time. Yeah, and that's kind of how I use ChatGPT and using AI definitely helps with it. So not only am I using it to help me create an actual script, either for LinkedIn or for YouTube or something else, or my other platforms, is finding the news, something that I want to talk about that fits with my target audience, or how I want to be known as the authority of this particular subject. I'll write down my bullet points, send it to ChatGPT, and it sends it back to me. And then I just rewrite it into my own voice, record it, and knowing where to cut. Actually, before that, I use a particular software, which is called Dscript. So I can send it over to Dscript. And on Dscript, there is a way where, well, first, send it over to Dscript. I can use Dscript to remove some of the filler words or some of the silences, because sometimes when I'm recording, I can just record and I'll stop because I won't remember what to say. I'll stop and then I'll re-record again, or I'll pause and just continue. And then I use that certain software to remove some of the filler words, some of the silences, and then I'll use it to add some B-roll. There's a place on it called Underlord where I can say, hey, can you add me some B-roll on particular things that I'm talking about? Don't add any faces, and then it'll create B-roll for me, and that way I'm able to, export that and then upload that to YouTube, LinkedIn, subs, and so on. Do you guys, what sort of software do you guys use? I'm trying to look at the questions here because I know some of them popped up. Okay. All right, so hard time reducing it to guard too much. I use ChatGPT mostly, edit and post in scripts. I use it to create content. Great, okay. Content matrix on ChatGPT is awesome. I mean, so, okay, I want to come back to Serena's question on ChatGPT. So the way I use content on ChatGPT, I will obviously write down, okay, so this is what I want to talk about. This is the bullet points. Help me create something. And what I do is help me create column 1 would be a 5-word or less hook. Give me some options of a couple hooks that I want to use. And then I will do column 2 would be me talking. I just put on camera creator talking about a particular subject. And then I'll do column three, which would be, it could be a voiceover. So things that I can talk about if I get, you know, voiceover and B-roll, and then something to close it. So that I can take that, rewrite it into my own words, and be able to, send it over to all my different platforms that I use. That's kind of one way that I use ChatGPT. Is I'll just use columns, and then once that's done, then I use other software, Dscript, and then Runaway. Sometimes I'm starting to learn Runaway a little bit better now, and Nano Banana as well. All right, let's see. We have any. Okay. So it does, for me, AI definitely, helps me clear a lot of hurdles because I do often get stuck on things. And that's typically the way I kind of use it. All right, let me get to this question. What's the best way to make sure AI generated content still sounds authentic and personal? I sometimes feel my thick voice. Okay, so that's kind of one thing you need to do, or from my experience is, you don't want to sound like AI. You want AI to sound more like you. And the best way of doing that is once you get your script from either ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude or any of the others, then you kind of rewrite it into your own voice, how you say things. It doesn't always have to be perfect. You're just putting out content. And it's funny because, let me just click this spotlight here and answer. I'm learning how to do that myself. I completely struggle with that because sometimes, okay, I'm a YouTube content creator, as I was a YouTube Space LA. And typically when I come up with the idea, I already mentioned how it goes about doing that is, I'll take time, okay, write the script, send it to ChatGPT, and then edit it out, and then send it out to many platforms. Of course, there's like, okay, this is where I need to film it, this is where I need to light it, how does it sound? How is the audio? Is it working? And then, and then if it's all good, then I'll release it. I'll edit it and I'll release it. But sometimes I'll just have to re-record. Sometimes I just don't like my voice. I did like 30 LinkedIn videos. My LinkedIn journey, the ones that I have right now on LinkedIn, I did 30 of them. And I did not like my voice. So I didn't delete them, but I just re-recorded. So now I have those just in case if I want to use pieces of it, I can do that. But it's funny because another famous YouTube content creator name is Vanessa Lau. She mentioned that this generation with for me it's like, okay, finding a good place to film it, write it, shoot it, re-recording, and then edit it out. But yet by that time I have one video. But the Gen Z crowd, they particularly just grab the camera and start talking about whatever they want to talk about, whatever subject, but that's content for them. And I have one video, and then they have 10 videos. That's something I'm learning. But for me, it's using AI for B-roll, for storytelling. It might take a little bit longer for me, but it definitely speeds up the process. Instead of spending hours editing, I just do this a lot faster. All right, let's see now. Look at the chat. Okay, I get too much use. Use Copilot. So Copilot, I know that that's in the Windows platform. I just experiment very little with Copilot. I know it's a form of ChatGPT. Typically, the ones that I use are ChatGPT, and if I want to, ChatGPT is great for like scripting. But if I want to put something out on YouTube, I find that Gemini is a little bit better because obviously it's Google, it's connected to YouTube and everything else. So, I'll write my script on certain keywords that it should hit, and ask for the metadata, the headline, the tags, the hooks. And that's how I use Gemini for places like YouTube and so on. All right, let's see what's all right. I think I just answered this one. All right, now what's the best way to make sure your sounds okay? That one I already answered. Okay. All right. So what are some mistakes to avoid using AI for content creation? One of the absolute biggest mistakes is copy and paste. That's something you don't want to do. You don't want ChatGPT to write the script for you and then you're going to record it because it's not going to sound like you. It's not going to say AI helps you. It's like a microphone that amplifies your voice, but it doesn't know your story. It doesn't know your shared experiences. That all comes from you, and by you, getting that and telling it your way, rewriting it your way, adding stories to it, adding comments to it, funny comments, educational comments, something that's relatable. That's one way to what you can do. So AI won't sound the content you sound won't just be AI. It'll be just, something that you did yourself. Okay. And obviously, another thing about to avoid is you don't really want to use, and I don't think there's a problem. I think they do a really good job with copyright because coming from YouTube space LA, before when we were there, we shot something and it had to be cleared by the attorneys of YouTube. Otherwise, we couldn't release it. And I've become pretty good, really good at making sure there's no copyright strikes, there's nothing there, there's no intellectual property. I make sure I try not to have any like logos or anything like that on any of my videos. My shirts are always like plain. There's nothing around with any logos. I think for LinkedIn and YouTube and so on, it's not as important anymore if you're doing educational content, but I just wouldn't do it. That's one thing I don't. And I wouldn't do public faces yet. I don't know the actual rule to that yet. So I try to avoid that altogether. All right, let's see what else. Let me look at the chat. Chat's good. So, all right. All right. So another way how I use, so this week, okay, so for content creation for me, not only it's just a talking head, I gotta have a story to it. I have to tell either a story or I have to show B-roll into what I'm doing. If you look at a lot of my LinkedIn videos, there is B-roll of what I'm doing, whether it's myself or there is B-roll that I've acquired from Dscript or other platforms. Envato Elements is another way. I just feel that it's pretty good to actually create a story once you're talking. But I know that one of the biggest problems I've had is sometimes that takes a while to do, which I need to learn how to do that myself. So for me, I'm learning from growing with AI, just like everybody else. I'm just taking a different step towards doing that. All right, let's see. That's the next question. What's okay? Okay, I think I answered that. Yep. Okay. I got to start marking these like marked. Okay, here's okay. Do you use AI to repurpose one idea into different content formats, like a post, video, script, or article? So how do you approach it? Okay, so I've been doing a lot of LinkedIn videos recently. So for me, now this is just for me. Okay, so I've kind of been letting go of my old YouTube channel, which has 20,000 subscribers, has got 18 million views. I haven't posted on that at all. So I'm trying to come up with a strategy now where I can do two things at once. I want to have a separate YouTube channel on like my AI journey, because not only am I on a LinkedIn journey, I'm also creating video for like other people, for projects, for clients, also learning AI content creation, including content for my Meta Ray-Ban glasses, and I'm going to get the new one too. So I'm doing that content for that. I want to create a separate videos and put it into that platform. So now my new strategy is going to be create two long form videos, and then cut them up into pieces where I can just put them all on, like the pieces I can just put on LinkedIn, and the bigger ones I could put on, my first YouTube channel, my second YouTube channel, subs, you know, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and so on. So that's what I'm going to be doing to repurpose my content, because I've had a little bit of trouble with time when that happens. Okay, let's see. Let me click that. Answered. What do you think of using sounds like CS? Like C? Okay, hold on a second. Let's in the prompt. Like, okay, I'm not familiar with the. What do you think of using sounds like C.S. Lewis in the prompt? I get the vibe. Just blend the script. That you meaning? Okay, if it's not copyrighted and there's no intellectual property, then yes. But if there is, or you think there is, you can always send that over to one of your. You can send that over to ChatGPT, and ask, hey, I need an intellectual. Pretend you are an intellectual attorney from, Los Angeles or something. This is sounds that's there. Can I use the sound? If the answer is no, I wouldn't do it. There are plenty of places where you can actually get sound. There is Envato, there is Envato Elements. There's also Sound Blocks. There's a lot of free sites. YouTube actually has the free site for actual sound and music you can use. I believe it is, if you Google YouTube audio library, a lot of that is free that you can use. And there's no there's not going to be any strikes. So I wouldn't really use, if you're not familiar with it, definitely do check. I think that's probably my best answer, because I really don't know. I don't know what that C. Lewis prompt is. Okay. But if you can give me more information on it, or even send me a message about it, I can definitely double check for you. All right, because I kind of want to know too. All right, so let's see. I just answered that one. Let's see. I've heard people say that AI output content is only as good as your prompt and what you put in. What are some of the tips of writing better prompts to get you? Okay, for me, I ask it a lot of questions. So number one is I'll give it a prompt, and I'll be really thorough of what I want from that prompt. Whether if I'm describing something, an angle, because I'm creating a story. If it's an angle or a background, so I'm very, very thorough with the prompt that I'm asking, or even if it's something that I'm writing. Okay, so one of the things that I'm working on right now is, I'm sure you've heard OpenAI. I forgot the name of the bank, but OpenAI, I think it's NVIDIA's the other one, Oracle. They're building these power plant data centers. So I kind of want to do 3 or 4 videos on it. So my prompt was, okay, I fed it the news, and I said, okay, these are the bullet points I want to talk about on this particular video, but on the next video, I want to know the pros and cons about these data centers. I mean, is it going to help us? Is it for corporations? And then I'll maybe do a third video on some of the things that I missed on that particular article, how it affects me. Those are some of the prompts that I use, and I get really thorough. Sometimes, there was another study that said how people are using ChatGPT, and it's just to gather information for advice and so on. Once I start talking to ChatGPT about information, it just goes on and on and on and on. It's like I can have a conversation. And you want to use, especially for content creation and AI, you want to see it as your personal assistant, your content creator assistant, that'll help you amplify your voice, your message to anybody around, to your target audience, your platforms. That's a really good way of using AI in storytelling to send your message out faster. All right, let's see. All right, from David Wan, have you used AI to create or edit video storytelling using interpretation? Okay, so I do use AI. I do use Dscript if you look at I think the last video that I just posted today on LinkedIn, I created the video. Actually, I recorded it on CapCut, and I used the teleprompter. A couple times I kind of messed up, but luckily, once it was done, I fed it over to Dscript. On Dscript, I was able to remove the filler words, um, the the spaces where there's no sound, where I'm not recording. I've also used the software to kind of, because sometimes I'll do this, you know, when I'm trying to read my script or I'm trying to read my bullet points, because sometimes I'll forget the bullet points that I wrote. And I kind of fix the eye contact directly to the camera. And then I'll go and say, hey, I'll go into that particular, there's a little area where you push a button and say, hey, create this B-roll for me on some of the topics that I talked about. Make sure you don't add any faces to it, because otherwise I need to shoot my own B-roll. So I need to have a library of B-roll so I can just actually start putting that into a lot of my videos. But it'll do that for me, and then afterwards I just add captions. I haven't tried their animation yet, although they did a cartoon, but some of the words were just, they weren't correct. So I haven't really done the animation part yet. I just did actual like cinematic video is what I've done, and that's what I've put out. Okay, let's see if there is any more questions. Am I missing something? Okay, the chat looks good. What so besides ChatGPT, what other software are you guys using? Are you guys using any software for like storytelling purposes? If so, which ones are you using? Or here's another question for you guys. Are you able, because I'm still not able to do this, are you able to grab a camera and just push a button and record immediately, know what to say, what put your like point across? I know there's a lot of people on my Pro Voice like talent group that do it so well. I'm still learning how to do that. I have to stop sometimes. And I think that might be kind of one of my flaws is like I kind of want to put B-roll to it because it's just something that I'm used to, but that's something I got to work on. Oh, okay. Here's another question, and it says if someone is brand new to AI, where's what? Okay, this is blocking my answer. All right. If someone is brand new to AI, what's one experiment you'd recommend to try to see if it's to see its potential? ChatGPT, you can go to ChatGPT and say, hey, or Gemini, whichever one, or Claude, or which one you prefer. Say, hey, I want to create content, whether if it's written or or something you're going to present on camera. I want to help me write content for 1 week about this particular subject. And you could feed ChatGPT your resume, everything you've done. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what I want to talk about. This is the bullet points. Help me create content for a week's worth of content to my target audience, so I could become the authority of this particular subject, and give me a call to action, give me an option for like 5 words or less, a hook, and make sure you do it anywhere between I would say I would start off with 50 seconds to about a minute worth of content, and it'll put something out for you. You gather that and you rewrite it. You could post it on like on CapCut because they have a teleprompter option, and you read just sections off. You read sections off, something that you feel comfortable with. You can add your little story to it as well. Just try that. That's what I did, and that's how I had to learn myself. Is okay, writing its little pieces and saying those pieces that I've written myself, that I've gathered from ChatGPT, and then create an entire story behind it. So the more and more I become better at it, at doing that, the more comfortable and the more confidence I get doing that. Okay, let's see. Did I miss anyone's question? Hopefully not. Okay, I got that one. I got that one. Okay, let me just double check the chat. Okay, I missed something here. Okay, here's a good one from William. Okay, it's in prompting. I get to elaborate and then check. Okay, then tell Chat to put the script in style. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, exactly. Okay, like yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, I actually did that for like a job interview, a mock interview. I said, hey, go into this mock interview. Can you sound like the managers that'll help me get this interview? What kind of questions? But then I started having fun with it afterwards, and then I said, hey, pretend I'm getting a job at the Death Star as a content creator, and the person who is interviewing me is actually Darth Vader itself, and how they would respond to certain questions like that. And it was funny that what it gave me, but allowed me to practice also too. And I did that with other fictional people too. I just like to have fun. Whenever I'm creating content for me, it's really relaxing, and I just like to have fun. I can do this like pretty much all day. All right, let's see. But I definitely get what you mean now about using C.S. Lewis as like their style. It's definitely fun. Exactly right. Yeah, like Yoda. Right. Yeah, I even did one with a big fan of The Walking Dead. Did one with Negan too. So okay, well that is the end of my session. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next week.